Well met, lords and ladies, Jacob Butter speaking, and a warm welcome to this week's Walking Wednesday. Lo and behold, I was going to say I haven't recorded in Crawley at sunset before, but yeah, who am I kidding? I've recorded pretty much every time of day in this area. And yeah, we're back once again because actually, one of the things that happens is that my nan's house was always the big, central pit stop, I suppose. Pit stop for basically whenever we had to actually go anywhere. Because, I mean, here we're relatively much closer to one of the major airports, which I am not going to mention. Although I guess I did say the word Crawley, so you can probably work it out if you really wanted to, but whatever. Not that it will give you too much of an indication. As I've discovered, this place is not as easily navigated as one might anticipate. You've been coming here ever since you were 3, pretty much. Because I think I said that in the Abuela video. I think that was the first time we journeyed over here. It was when I was 3, pretty sure. It wasn't when I met her, actually, because technically speaking, I met her when I was 8 days old. So, yeah, that was different. She came to me, the whole family did. Anyway, whole other story. I'm sure that will come up some other time. But yeah, basically, we're here because, again, I've got to go somewhere. And that somewhere, of course, is back on the, I guess, now annual journey with the exact same group of friends as last time. We did actually invite a few other people. Actually, no, scratch that. We invited one other person who unfortunately did not really reply to us, so can't really do much about that, I'm afraid. That, of course, was actually the OG Julius, Adri himself. But yeah, I guess maybe if we did say we're going to try and arrange the next year's trip way earlier, so we might actually have some time. That being said, pretty much everywhere that we look at has places for a maximum of 4 people, and that was already complicated enough. So you can imagine trying to find for a 5th, I suppose. But you know what? We'll address that subject at some later stage. Because who even knows? It's a mystery whether or not. Well, actually, what's going to happen? We don't know. we barely even decide what place we're going to visit until they get randomly brought up on calls sometimes, or even, in their case, just as a point of reunion. But yeah, I'm going to be off, and to conclude, I guess that here's there's not really much to wrap up and talk about for this week, really, at least as far as has happened. So I guess I'll say here is what there are a few things obviously that did happen, mostly today and yesterday, and maybe the day before. Because what my week has mostly been actually was after releasing. Was it? Oh my goodness! Was it this week? Was Mutant Girl and the 10th anniversary this week? I think it was. Okay, yeah, I do have stuff to talk about. Jeez. Okay, I just didn't waste 3 minutes of time talking on here because I can't edit stuff anymore because I'm not taking my laptop with me. So I will not be editing while away. And so I actually managed to cram in 8 different videos across the 2 different channels, the Butter Bunch and the main channel, to talk about. And with those ones, basically, I tried for the main channel ones to start using this thing called Gling, which is an AI program that cuts out unwanted silences and bad takes and stuff like that, which I guess would be more useful for the what ifs. But I wanted to try more of that later. It's basically because I need something that's more efficient. Please help me. And it turns out there's a few more things about it. That sometimes it will cut out things that you don't want, or occasionally we will pause for dramatic effect. So not every single video was made with that tool in mind. But yeah, in future I'm going to start looking at that for most other stuff. Not like the gacha videos, because obviously in those ones I am pretty much the sole person in control of the pacing. Or am I? Because this time, because of the fact that this episode came out, and to not lose the impetus, especially because I've already been away once over the holidays and over the summer, and now it's the proper summer when people actually are available. In fact, I recently gained back Nova Knight's VA, of all people. Well, actually, we have already lost him. It's just, he's not usually around, so he's usually busy. But yeah, so essentially, while doing that, got to take advantage, and so Aiden, of course, being Aiden, was very keen about that. So I've handed off the reins to him while I'm away. For now, Aiden has been temporarily promoted to director and producer of the Mutant Girl. So there you have it, lords and ladies. So whatever Aiden says for the next 2 weeks goes. And yeah, he'll probably be asking for... I hinted to him, actually, he's not going to watch this, but I hinted to him before that any episodes that he might want, so he tends to ask people stuff to them in batches. So like 3 and 4, for example, he might try and do. He might also say, I said also, any episodes or specials that at his discretion. He has been mentioning to me about the Christmas special for the lines that I don't know, I think they were on the hard drive or something. I might have to get able to do those again, I'm afraid. He wants to get those sorted and out of the way as well. Which, of course, means that means that everything will be going to him, and then I will not know what takes have been selected and what pacing has been done or whatever. But that should be fine. I mean, Aiden himself said actually that season 2 he was sort of straddling the lines because I already had a concrete plan. A lot of the mystery aspects and some of the big hints towards what was going on. The main outline of the plot was decided by Shiny and me back during 2019 when season 1 was still going on. And then after that, after the whole ordeal happened with Shiny, and after the fact that he said, "Oh, I don't want to write any further than just a camping trip, because that's all I thought of," then I once again, as that was immediately when Aiden took over as co-writer, because by that point he realized, oh, well, if co-writer position is open, sign me up, baby. So yeah, but by that point I already had the idea, so he was kind of like, most of the stuff they ended up pitching around that time, it didn't make it in. Like 90% of it I had to actually reject because he was trying to go in a completely different direction. But now, after such a long time, and after actually being able to start a season together, which was season 3, we actually been on the same page literally for quite some time now. And a lot of the stuff that he actually says, sometimes it's hard to actually put into words if I want to turn something down. But yeah, that's but it even then rarely happens anymore. We have so many ideas. The main thing I have to turn down is expanding it out into a bajillion episodes. But oh well. So season 3 was really kind of where we were on equal footing, and then to where he kind of found his particular voice. So with that in mind, I'm pretty sure he knows by instinct pretty much exactly what has been intended for most of those scenes. I guess the one concern I might actually have is there's a particular scene that I actually added a little bit later that I have imagined in my head for a long time now. But I doubt that the episode will be finished by the time that I get back. That would be, don't get me wrong, it would be amazing if it were, but not just. But I highly doubt it. But you know what? It's fine. I need to learn to let go of that kind of thing. I've been preaching to people, don't make, don't obsess over perfection all the time. Because if you do that, then you'll never make another work of art again. And like I say, everything that, people do creatively is art. And I do mean that. So I said that in the tutorial video that I made. And yes, I stand by that, and that's why I take gacha so seriously. Even if I do end up cracking jokes about it all the time, and sort of saying stuff like, "Oh yeah, these gacha tubers, classic thing that they always do, or we always do, or whatever." At the end of the day, we're all gacha tubers, really. At least most people that watch this, if you're not my family, also trying to wonder what's going on. And yeah, if you are family watching this video, then you'll get more out of, I guess, the next couple of weeks, because we're figuring out the stuff that's going on. Not to say that I'm going to be completely incommunicado that whole time. That's not what I mean at all. But yeah, it's But yeah, I'm sure that those will be more interesting than this. This is more, I guess, the aftermath episode. Because yeah, the aftermath of the aftermath of the Mutant Girl, I guess, is that every time that any new gacha video gets, I go able to release it, there's always a buzz after it for some time. I keep mentioning that for Alpha Witch Academy because I'm always surprised because those kind of just drop out of nowhere and I don't really promote them too much, and then immediately after the first one came out on the main channel, suddenly Ghosty's posting fan art and people are asking me questions about the series, and BB and I are talking about how it fits into the wider Butterverse and such, and yeah, and then same thing for the second one. I found it second time, but oh well, doesn't matter. But yeah, Puppy Love as well. The SS Countdown came from there. But of course, nothing comes close to the Mutant Girl, which people have been waiting for a long time. Even most of the people who have been watching for the past year or so, the ones that came from stuff like 5 years later, or the, or I guess, Gacha Review as well. Or most of them came to the channel after the Mutant Girl, and some of them have, gone back and watched it again and everything. Which, again, I'm glad it's got such a good, lasting value for people. That was the idea. Make a gacha series doesn't age immediately after it was actually made. Because, yeah, it does seem that people just tended to denounce those and sometimes move on. Although, I guess, in that way, what I didn't know was that because of the way that the gacha community itself would start to die out from its heyday in 2018 and 2019, that a lot of the ones that people saw before have become very nostalgic now, which I'm glad to see, because it just seemed like everything was going to be forgotten. I guess that gives credence to the idea of starting something and making it last, because then you can carry it on and you still have things to look forward to. In a way, I guess that could also apply to the Music Freaks, which has massive gaps in its in its time. It was over 3 years, and there was 11 episodes in total, which has been used by Red Legend Studios to reinvigorate the team over on over on the Surface, which, by the way, if you're looking for a fully animated, fully voice acted, fully everything pretty much gacha movie, look no further than the Surface. Because, or just look no further than the Surface. Go to Redington Studios. She's looking for new members. But yeah, every time, and like that's, and the after show particularly, wrapping up the 10-year anniversary as well. Even though that was the day that my computer actually stopped working, because I literally what happened was I saw there was a Windows update. Didn't do much of it all day because I was still working on uploading videos and making thumbnails and everything, because it was Deca Day. I wanted to, I had 10 projects to coordinate. Make sure they all ran an hour apart from each other in a particular order, so people wouldn't get too bored with one thing, because 5 of them were the same series. And then after that I was like, okay, fine, well, I need a bath now. I'm going to put a Windows update on. And so went to the bath, had the Windows update going. Next thing I know, come back to my computer, doesn't respond, won't turn on. I try a few times, goes to a blue screen, that whole ordeal. And meanwhile, the premiere for the episode is starting. So I'm just there on my phone, and also in the server call, which we did as well at the same time as it was going on, and barely able to follow like the episode itself. But obviously I've seen it a bajillion times anyway, so I knew what was going on. Interacting with the chat and with the people who were there at the same time, which is fine if you have a computer and you can switch through the applications a lot more easily, but I didn't in that moment. So yeah, that was a fun time. That was a fun, as Catechris would say. So, but yeah, then afterwards I actually just opened up Restream the last moment, because I planned the event already, so I don't have to program that too much. Waited with the terrible loading speeds, hooked up my microphone to the computer downstairs attached to the TV, and then just talked from there, pretty much. And I heard the audio from the TV itself. I was like, I couldn't put my headphones in. So there I was, just pacing up and down the living room, talking into a detachable headset microphone, and having a grand old time talking to people about the series and some behind the scenes stuff, which I guess also applies to yesterday, because if you haven't seen on KW's channel, one of them, it was the live and series channel, I think it's called now. That is KW Live and Series channel. There was the Fallen Angels last 4 episodes live stream, because she wanted to do the last 4 together. Well, I say of season 1, the last 4 episodes. So, because there were no guests, I finally caved in, and I knew this was going to happen. But basically, every time that I go into a Fallen Angel stream, a Mutant Girl stream, or anything, I can't help but talk about behind the scenes. It's okay, I've realized, when I'm just talking about if I'm in like Secrets of the Plex or something like that, which also, I think also came out this week, where it's just I happen to voice one of the characters, or sometimes more depending on the thing, and I'm just saying like, oh, this is what happened during recording, or here's a funny anecdote about how I started singing Greatest Showman during the line submission, because there was a line that reminded me of the opening of the first song. That actually happened, by the way. Go and check out the stream if you want to see what I'm talking about. But yeah, that's just like random stuff. I realized over the years, okay, I don't have to avoid stuff that I voice acted in on purpose, because A, I'm not always a massively important character, and B, it truly doesn't matter. I can still just talk about the story and analyze that and all that stuff, because I'm not involved with that process, and usually I haven't edited it. When I have, as is the case with Fallen Angels, a lot of what I talk about is you know, things that we tried to portray, things that might have went wrong, things that people might not have noticed. Basically, just talking about behind the scenes for ages. Which is why I never suggested going onto KW's reactions myself. I was always like, oh hey, get this person who hasn't seen this series yet, or get this person, or this person. It was so it was only in the last moment when KW was literally just getting like very desperate, interacting with just the chat and everything. I was in the stream at the time that she was like, please come in, please don't any guests. It's like, all right, fine. And Aiden also, because he was trying to call me at the time to talk about the Mutant Girl auditions. And on we went. Which, by the way, Mutant Girl auditions, very quickly, thank you all for participating. Biggest turnout since Puppy Love. 56 individual auditions from the same people, but for different characters and whatever. If you haven't checked, the audition the verdict is on the server. I was going to make a video about that, but then I realised I don't have the time to do that. So yeah, I didn't get to do like a big... that was a shame, because I remember when I did that, announced a few of the roles of season 2, and that was actually really fun. Another story from Masako, of course. So yeah, in the end, I guess a lot happened this week. It just all happened in such a compressed format, and I was on such autopilot that I barely registered it. Like, I could have thought this was over the course of a couple of weeks or something, but no. It was all barely contained. I don't really know. But yeah, it's I guess that makes sense. I do indeed need a break. So again, remember, any Mutant Girl queries or stuff like that, please go to Aiden. And for anything else, please leave a like or dislike, because your opinion matters, and subscribe if not already. And on that note, until next time, farewell.